Hey, it's Toya, Combine Roar, or Toya to you, depending on which time zone you are in. Welcome back, everyone. We are doing the proper final trial. Yes, part 2 of it. I'm expecting it to go to part 3, so yeah. We're gonna see like the twists and turns and what have you, as it were. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. And I hope everyone's having a good Friday, Saturday so far. If you are, great. If you're not, I hope like being here will allow you to have a chill day. Okay. 4th November, 9:30 a.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. Oh, we're not even gonna do. Harry, hello. Oh. We're not even gonna like just be in the defendant's chamber. We're just gonna jump right into it. Let's go. Before we begin today, I have a brief announcement. As with the closed trial 10 years ago, some astonishing facts have come to light in these proceedings. The revelation that the well-known Reaper is actually an organization illegally executing its own brand of justice. And the discovery that a respected yard inspector was at its heart until he found himself perished in an assassination plot. So tall. Well, I say to all members of the judiciary here present on this occasion that we will stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth behind these disturbing findings. Counsels, you will undertake this trial with the resolve to pursue the truth to its bitter end. Yeah, but here's the thing. Me thinks that you're actually involved with the whole Assassin's Exchange, because it has to be someone high up in the government, right? And as far as we know, you are someone who's very high up in the government. I'm just saying. Resolve. Yes, that's my intention. I mean, the episode is called The Resolve of Rinosuke Naruhodo, so let's go. Dots. My lord, if I may inquire, the defendant may speak. On what grounds is Kazuma Asogi permitted to continue his role as prosecutor? Stepping a piece in the British judiciary, literally. Oh, because he's known to be the son of the professor? Or what do you mean? Oh, because he is admitted to, like, being part of the Reaper. He has admitted to colluding with the victim in a plot to assassinate an innocent man. He shouldn't be enjoying the privilege of freedom, let alone be leading the prosecution. I submitted a written petition to Lord Strongheart, requesting that judgment of my transgressions be delayed by 1 day. Oh, so we are gonna be finishing everything today. I see. Nice. You did what? In today's proceedings, I intend to expose everything. My whole life for the last 10 years has all been leading up to this 1 day. Kazuma, whatever the outcome of this trial, I give my word that I will accept whatever punishment is deemed appropriate, however severe. And I suggest you prepare yourself for the same, Reaper. I mean, say what you want, but you at least gotta, like, you gotta respect the drive. Kazuma's bristling with hostility today. I get the distinct impression we're heading into a very dangerous territory. Is that really even Kazuma-sama standing before us? As an extreme exception to normal practices, I have granted this prosecutor's request. The defense finds this acceptable, I presume. Yes, my lord. In that case, in the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the closed hearing of Baroque von Zeeks. The defense is ready, my lord. The prosecution is more than ready. Very well then. This preamble has taken long enough. Prosecutor Sogi, begin! As you wish, my lord. The prosecution calls the first witness to the stand. Seishiro Jigoku, right? Bring Seishiro Jigoku into the courtroom. At last then, we've reached the final battle. He's putting literally everything on the line now in order to get to the truth. Let's go, Ryunosuke. Come on, Ryunosuke. It's time for that steely resolved. It's time to be a steel samurai. Because this is going to test it to the limit. Let's go. Witness, state your name and occupation for the court. So it was you who issued this, was it? Your subpoena. I did what was necessary. Well, look what the young man has become. I didn't think I'd see the day when you take that tone with me, I must say. The witness will ensure his responses are pertinent to the questions asked. Dots. My name is Seishiro Jigoku, the Supreme Court judge from the Empire of Japan. 16 years ago, this man came to London as a visiting student. 6 years later, he returned to Japan. As well as presiding over the Supreme Court, he is also currently Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs. I am, of course, fully aware of Mr. Jigoku and his preeminent roles. I invited him personally to the International Forensic Science Symposium as a representative of his country. Oh, you did you? I hear he also played a key role in the conclusion of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. It was a great honor to be involved in the negotiations. I put my all into that treaty. Judge Jigoku, I must ask. Well, I never. Fancy a young murdering student turning up here, of all places. Why you gotta say it like that? You acquitted me yourself. And now, I'm a practicing defense lawyer. Yes. And full of self-importance like your friend across the courtroom, I see. You came here to London by invitation to the International Forensic Science Symposium. But then, without informing anyone of your plans, you took flight to France. Took flight? I'd have to object to that turn of phrase. Then explain yourself. What exactly were the circumstances? Well, I was somewhat expecting this. Now I'm sorry to say, I decline to comment. Oh, wow, you're really just gonna plead? I mean, it's not even pleading the fifth, you're just remaining silent. Okay. How do we cross-examine this? How do we cross-examine silence? What? Leaving the country prematurely when I was an invited guest may be questionable etiquette. But my decision is unrelated to this case. I can't be bound to testify. Unrelated, you say? Dots. I appreciate that a respected police inspector has been killed. I appreciate that a respected police inspector has been killed, for which I offer my condolences. However, being an alien, I'd obviously never met the man, nor do I know the first thing about him. Can we cross-examine that? Because we can be like, this though, this. As such, I'm in no position to testify. It's as simple as that. So you would run from all this? I beg your pardon. This case is more far-reaching than the murder of Inspector Gregson. It has ties to another murder, a case that was tried in Japan almost a year ago now. A year ago in Japan. The murder of Dr. John H. Wilson, you mean? That's right. And you, Judge Jigoku, are at the heart of both cases. The defense has evidence to prove it. Dots. Oh, are we gonna reveal the telegram? Well, Ryunosuke, I can see from the look in your eyes. I see from the look in your eyes that you're resolved to carry this through to the very end, too. Dots. Let's see your evidence, then. What proof do you have that Seishiro Jigoku is involved in this case? Take that!
Take that!
The telegram. But can we show it as legally in court? Like we obtained this through somewhat dubious means, right? Even though it is like a copy of it, right? We did break into his office. Anyways, this is a telegram detailing a communication sent between Britain and Japan approximately 1 year ago. The communication contained 4 names: K. Asogi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, and J. Wilson. Oh. You little. Oh. Where did you get that? You literally just punched it? My god. In Tokyo. From your office, Judge Jigoku. What? How on earth did you? What's this all about? Why is my name on that list? This list of 4 names follows a certain pattern. T. Gregson and J. Wilson are the names of victims. K. Asogi and A. Shin are the names of assassins. No. A year ago in Tokyo. Dr. Johnny... Oh, this is Ryunosuke. Dr. John H. Wilson's life was taken in a Western-style restaurant in the capital. The culprit was found to be a visiting student who went by the name of Giselle Brett, but her real name was Asa Shin, a professional killer sent on a mission to kill from Great Britain. A. Shin and her victim J. Wilson. And the murder that just took place here in London was the counterpart to that crime. An assassin sent from Japan, also a visiting student, Kazuma Asogi, whose victim was a British police inspector, Tobias Gregson, K. Asogi, and T. Gregson. One assassin from each country to kill a target residing in another. An assassin exchange, you might say. Dots. What exactly is the defense suggesting? These 2 cases of murder, one that took place in Britain and one in Japan, were masterminded by a pair of individuals from each country as a form of assassin exchange. And the telegram the defense has acquired is proof of this international contract to kill. What? He is so fucking stunned. The telegram was found in your office, Judge Jigoku. In other words, Pray forgive the discourse you have lurking while I get ready for bed. Not to worry, Eri. In other words, the mastermind in Japan was you! Dots. Just Shigoku. What's this all about? Dots. And you, Kazuma. You lied. During yesterday's proceedings, you acknowledged that you accepted the assassination mission. But you accepted it a year ago, not just a few days ago. But the mark wasn't Judge Shigoku at all. It was T. Gregson, Detective Inspector of Scotland Yard, as shown by the name of the killing contract. Dots. Very impressive, Rinosuke. But actually, I didn't lie. The name of the target I was ordered to kill never passed my lips yesterday. The idea that Seishiro Jigoku was the mark came entirely from you. You deliberately avoided saying a name. The defense claims these phone names indicate some sort of international assassin exchange. I'm sure I speak for all present when I say that the very idea seems utterly absurd. Well, Mr. Jigoku, what do you have to say for yourself? Dots. His silence only goes to prove his guilt. There's another very important point that this new development brings to light. There's now a distinct possibility that the scene of Inspector Gregson's actual murder was the Groose itself. Was in the witness's cabin aboard the SS Groose. Exactly. He was killed by Jigoku, stuffed in his trunk, and was brought along to London. Judge Jigoku, you have to testify now. To refuse will put you in contempt of court. Dots. There's no need for such a vicious stare, young man. Very well then. As a parting gift to you all, I'll tell you everything I know. Dots. It seems this Japanese gentleman has information that the court must hear about the alleged assassin exchange and the events of the night of the 31st October. Present your formal testimony now. As you wish, my lord. Dots. Let's go. The assassin exchange. Oh, you're just gonna admit it. Okay, Jesus, okay. It's true that Kazuma Sogi was assigned the assassination mission 1 year ago now. The target was Inspector T. Gregson. That was a condition of the British study tour. However, in the end, something happened that meant the young man was unable to carry out his mission. On the evening in question, a member of the crew was on duty outside my cabin at all times. If there had been a shot fired, the crewman would have heard it, so clearly I can't be involved. Okay, okay, so we need to figure out what time was that, right? Because if you say like 10 p.m., that's we know it's full of shit. So you admit it then, as this communication suggests, there really was an assassin exchange arrangement between Britain and Japan. A political endeavor at the highest levels. Not something I can discuss here. To use such a worthy practice as foreign study to coerce somebody to commit murder. It's the most appalling thing I've ever heard. Appalling. Well, it's easy to judge. Pardon? Sogi had a reason for taking the sword to that British inspector, you know. What? Wait. Why? Does he believe that? Oh, wait, because like Gregson was the one who pushed for the autopsy, which gave the key evidence that that convicted his father. Which is why he accepted the mission in the first place. Isn't that right, Counsel? Dots. Kazuma-sama. Judge Shigoku, if you're the mastermind behind this operation in Japan, then tell the court the identity of your counterpart in Britain. Okay. Because it's not necessarily in, okay, because it doesn't really matter in this case because the case is still regarding the killing of Gregson. I'm not obliged to divulge that information. As I said yesterday, I've killed nobody. I freely admit that I accepted the mission, but on the night the plan was to be executed, I backed out. In short, this assassin exchange that the defense has identified is unrelated to the events of this case. And the crucial point is this. Your police inspector can't have perished aboard the steamship in Dunkirk. Because if he had been shot in the cabin, it's inconceivable that a member of the crew wouldn't have heard it. That's right. Gregson was killed after returning to London, in the room on Fresno Street. No, I know for a fact that he did not. And the perpetrator of the crime was the Reaper, Baroque von Zeeks. The prosecution's accusation remains unchanged. To think that a seemingly innocent foreign exchange program was a facade for such Machiavellian dealings. Clearly, it's a plot only a government minister and a high-ranking judge such as the witness could hope to execute. Well, I seem to recall that it was someone on the British side who controlled everything. Oh, is that a snide remark, Shigoku? Be that as it may, it is not the place of this court to pursue this villainous assassin exchange plot. We are concerned only with the tangible events pertaining to the murder of Inspector Gregson. Is the defense clear on that point, Counsel? Dots. I'm just gonna have to prove that it is pertinent. Yes, my lord. I'll keep that in mind as I cross-examine the witness. Damn you, Jigoku, and we thought you were a good guy. I'm gonna press on everything. A year ago, when Kazuma's still in Japan then. Correct. It was at the examination center for applicants for the study tour that I approached him. I'll never forget it. I remember exactly what he said. He just came out and asked me forthright if I considered traveling to Britain on an assassination mission. Surely not. I thought it was a joke at first, of course. But then, it was made clear to me that if I didn't accept, I wouldn't be considered for the study tour. So you agreed to it? Just for that? I mean, I know how much you wanted to study in England, but assassination? Dots. The Empire of Japan had accepted a proposal from the British Empire at the time. An agreement to send a student from each country to the others to deepen cultural understanding and friendship. But behind the scenes, the chosen students were to be given assassination missions. I had no choice but to accept the proposal that originated from my British counterpart. Why? Why didn't you expose the plot there and then? Dot. He's not at liberty to say. Britain acknowledges no part in these alleged misbegotten dealings. I advise you not to make spurious allegations. Foreign Minister TGAAC. As a witness, I'm bound to tell the truth, my lord. So this is kind of it has to be Mill's Strongheart, right? It has to be him. Like, they're literally facing across from each other, and like this kind of sassiness, this kind of snide remark. Anyway, I picked Asogi and explained the details of the plan to him.
Hold it!
Why Cosma? Why did you pick him as the assassin? He was the most capable of all the applicants, and in addition, I knew his desire to travel to Britain was very strong. In fact, it was almost more than a desire. It was his whole purpose in life. Yes, as his best friend, I can certainly attest to that. The way he threw himself into his studies, the way he pursued becoming qualified as a lawyer, was all ultimately for that one single goal of being accepted on a study tour to Britain. And of course, we know the reason behind that. He was determined to find out for himself the truth about his father, Kenshin Asogi. There's nothing I wouldn't have done to get here. Be that agreeing to assume the role of an assassin, betraying people's trust. Well, you certainly did a fine job of betraying mine, Asogi. Dots. But why was Inspector Gregson the target? I have no idea. Those were the orders from Britain. I was in no position to question them. You have no idea? Really? I find that hard to believe. Oh, do you? Judge TGAAC was once a visiting student here in Britain himself, of course. Yeah, like he must have met Gregson, like, before, like, during the trial or anything, right? Perhaps he has some connection of Inspector Gregson from that time. The defense really ought to catch up. With what? With the fact that the assassin exchange has absolutely nothing to do with the case under scrutiny here. Yes. I've already admitted to recruiting Asogi. No. I need you to tell me the time.
Hold it!
I presume you're referring to the incident that occurred during Cosma's passage to Britain in January. The awful tragedy that took place on the steamship. Word arrived at the ministry some 2 weeks after the ship's departure from our shores. The visiting student had been killed, but his body had somehow gone missing in Hong Kong. The news was wired to me from a detective I placed on the ship to accompany the assassin. Obviously, Cosma didn't actually die at all, but he did lose his memory, including all details about his special mission. Dots. Oh, my neck. Did you not consider dispatching another assassin at that point? That wasn't possible, simply because that black-clad young student over there had already put himself forward as Asogi's replacement. Well, I'm sorry for ruining your plans, okay? And there was no way to stop him from reaching Britain. My hands were completely tied. So Mr. Sholmes' strategy worked perfectly. He predicted everything that would happen. Yeah, he was screwing us the entire time. Months later, my memory returned. But I never intended to go through the assassination mission anyway. So you were playing me right from the outset, were you? Is that it? I'd sooner be guilty of that crime than of taking someone else's life. I was prepared to do whatever I had to in order to get myself here to Britain. This line of questioning has gone on long enough. All the court should be concerned about the testimony given by this witness are details relating to his relationship with Inspector Gregson and the victim's murder. In that case, as I've already made perfectly clear, I had no connection to the man or his death. And you have some means of substantiating this plea. At all times, except for 10 to 10:20. Outside your cabin in the first-class area of the SS Grouse, you mean? Or Bruce, whichever. Yes, that's right. Not least because there was a murder of a student passenger earlier in the year, I imagine. The liner operators have taken to posting a crewman outside every first-class cabin door. I can confirm the presence of the crewman guard myself. What do you mean? Because I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk that night. I witnessed it with my own eyes. There's a well-built crewman standing guard directly in front of the door to the witness cabin. Oh my god, it's chicken stroganoff. Excuse me. At that particular time, of course, I'd gone to the ship's dining room for dinner. The inspector and I asked the crewmen to allow us into the cabin while we waited for Judge Jigoku's return. I suppose Inspector Gregson was there in his capacity as the Reaper. He was intending to take the witness's life. Exactly. As I've said numerous times now, I had no intention of killing anyone. So the crewman let two potential assassins into the cabin he was supposed to be guarding. Not the most convincing of sentries, really. In truth, those were my thoughts too. I mean, he's not exactly the best seaman, right? But anyway, I stayed to talk with Inspector Gregson for a short while, and then I left him there and made my way off the ship alone. Was the guard still at the door when you went? Yes. He glared at me as I walked past. You see? That proves it. But what time was it?
Hold it!
Yeah, but there's a bullet hole in your fucking cabin. We know you shot him. The crewman who was standing directly outside your cabin door, you mean? That's right. A muscular man with a permanent grim expression on his face. He didn't once move from that spot. To be honest, I thought he was a miserable fellow. But as it happens, he's a vital witness now. There's no doubt that Gregson was killed by a gunshot, and it's inconceivable that a crewman standing just outside a cabin wouldn't have heard that. And wait, what about the ship's enormous steam engines? The noise of them could have drowned out the sound of the gun being fired. Sadly, young judicial assistant, that won't wash. Because the engines weren't on at the time when it was docked, right? Oh! Right, because it is first class. You will recall that my cabin was in the first class area of the ship, which is also, of course, the quietest. Don't imagine for a moment that it's anything like steerage where these judicial assistants go. I didn't mean... But a hole like that was But a hole like that made by a bullet was found in your cabin, Judge Goku. That's compelling evidence that a gun was fired in there. What's that? Bullet hole. Oh yes. You're talking about what the detective uncovered on the wall yesterday, I presume. That was obviously a rotten panel eaten out by a woodworm. No doubt he didn't find an actual bullet. That's the hole in this argument. Sadly, I was unable to arrange for the crewmen to be brought back to Britain with me. But obviously, if a gun had been fired in my cabin on the night in question, as the defense implies, I would have been arrested on the spot. I would have never made it to Britain in the first place. Very true. The witness's logic is sound. There's no gunshot was heard from the witness's cabin at the night in question. You must assume that the witness is telling the truth. Nope, I can say that the guy was not there at all times. You had a 20-minute window to kill him. I'm glad you've seen sense, my lord. I know Cosmo's already admitted to taking on this incredible assassination plot, but even so, hearing it confirmed by somebody else is still a real shock. It's unforgivable. Using Kazuma-sama's feelings to manipulate him into agreeing to such a despicable plan. But I think Kazuma's manipulated Judge Goku too. He completely double-crossed him. Oh dear. It's hard not to see that as a stroke of brilliance on Kazuma-sama's part. One way or another, though, Gregson ended up dead. I really think that the murder must have happened aboard that steamship. So you mean, Judge Goku must be lying. Dots. I know I shouldn't let my emotions cloud my judgment. But you must destroy him! Mr. Naruhodo, let's go! We're about to decide to take him down. Objection!
Objection!
There was a 20-minute window where he was not there. Yes, as the court has heard, there was a crewman posted outside Judge Goku's cabin. However, we can be sure that contrary to the witness's claim, the guard wasn't there at all times. What? I have here a notice of a particular event that was scheduled to take place aboard the steamship on the 31st. Where did you get that? It's evidence gathered by Mr. Herlock Sholmes. We were acquainted yesterday, if you remember. Herlock Sholmes again. According to this itinerary, after leaving the port of Dunkirk at exactly 10 p.m. and for a period of 20 minutes, all crewmen of the SS Grouse were to gather on deck for an evacuation drill. All crewmen were away from their posts. And during that 20-minute interval, of course, any gunshot emanating from your cabin would have been heard by no one. Dots. And your little speaker thing was like plugged up too with cloth. In summary, Judge Goku, you had ample opportunity to commit the crime. So fucking tall, look
Objection.
at him. Kazuma. A 20-minute window of opportunity. That's an excellent find, Ryunosuke. But it amounts to nothing. Why? Because the witness clearly stated in his testimony that no incident occurred in his cabin. Unless you have some decisive evidence that can show his testimony to be false. I can, because there is this small component that was found in Judge Goku's cabin. I got you by the balls, Kazuma. I got you by the balls. Your accusation is nothing more than conjecture. Very true. Well, counsel. Dots. Inspector Gregson was killed in Judge Jigoku's cabin that night. I'm certain of it. Because the defense has the evidence to prove it. You will present the evidence for the defense at once, counsel. What proof do you have that the victim's life was taken in Jigoku's cabin on the 31st? This!
Take that!
Judge Jigoku, this was found in your cabin yesterday. What is that? The crown of a pocket watch. A pocket watch. And if you will observe the victim's pocket watch, which we know he treasured, is missing precisely that part. It can't be. Moreover, this crown is a perfect fit on the spindle protruding from the victim's watch. Now, the fact that this was retrieved from Judge Jigoku's cabin tells us that the victim's watch almost certainly broke there. In other words, the victim was killed on the 31st during the 20-minute evacuation drill. In the cabin occupied by you, Judge Jigoku. Oh God, his shocked expression, holy shit. His pupils were dilating and everything. Dots. Well, you're razor sharp, aren't you? You young murderer.
Objection!
Oh, Kazuma? Expertly maneuvered. Who do you know, Skase? Then why did you object? And your argument sounds entirely plausible. At first. But rather like this pocket watch. It's full of cracks. What? Go on. And I believe Judge Jigoku feels the same way. Oh? I was wrong to acquit you earlier in the year. Sorry? If I'd known that it would result in anyone having to listen to this drivel, I would have declared you guilty just to spare the world your ridiculous bomb blast. Well, fuck you too, buddy. I think it's clear that the witness will have to give further testimony. When you hear what actually happened in my cabin that night, you'll notice the pitfall into which you've stumbled. Prior to your renewed testimony, I would like to clarify one point. The fact that this part of the victim's watch was discovered in your cabin means that you acknowledge he was there, I presume. Yes, I do. Very well then. Like, okay, I've been mixing around with like Strongheart's voice, but I feel like this is like a nice mix because I can't have him like just be like deep all the time because I have Jigoku as a deep voice. I can't just have it deep in a British accent, right? It has to be like almost like sardonic, but like still like some sort of powerful, right? You may proceed to give your formal testimony about what exactly happened in your cabin aboard the ship on the evening of the 31st October. Of course, as a man of the law, I have no intention of obstructing justice, liar. You hid his body in your trunk, don't fucking lie to us. The events in the cabin. I had a guest waiting for me when I returned to my cabin after finishing my evening meal in the dining room. When I walked through the door, a mustachioed Englishman was there, foolishly waving a gun at me. I soon took care of him with an ippon seoi throw, though. Ippon seoi. Yeah. I soon took care of him with an ippon seoi throw, though. He couldn't wait to run after that. I imagine his watch was broken when I threw him over my shoulder. It has nothing to do with his murder. The glass over the face really is badly cracked. Look. A shame when the inspector clearly looked after it so carefully. I imagine Mr. Shrooms could repair it, don't you? Yes, I should think so. He's very adept at things like this. A useful man to have, in fact. But Cully remembered that he's a great detective, Mr. Naruhodo, not an odd job man. Again, there are 5 people in this photograph, I know that. So, you threw him over. The inspector was clearly killed when having returned to Britain, because his body was found in London. I'm gonna press for more information and evidence. Heipon Seoi. A common jiu-jitsu martial arts technique in my country. I was careful not to use too much force, but the man obviously landed too heavily for his watch to take. So, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I imagine you can see the flaw in your logic now, can't you? Sure. But the thing is, this was not found just in the cabin. It was found specifically in his luggage. So, I'm just saying. Anyways. What? The fact that the pocket watch was broken in the witness's cabin in no way proves that the victim's murder took place there. I've no doubt the inspector intended to kill me, but he didn't manage to pull the trigger. Yes, because it was merely a tactician, not the Reaper's hand of death. Well, the testimony appears to make perfect sense as far as I can tell. Let me express my deep gratitude for your understanding, my lord. If this testimony holds, Yochigoku will be deemed to have had no involvement in the case. Well, counsel, I really see no reason for wasting precious court time here on the cross-examination. But I'm gonna take it anyway, my lord. Sorry, my lord. The defense has a right to cross-examine, and I don't intend to squander that. You're an embarrassment to your countrymen, not knowing when you're beaten. Yeah? But don't count your chickens before they hatch, old man. I'm about to take you down a peg. In that case, proceed, Mr. Naruhodo. Alright, let's do it.
Hold it!
Because the so-called guard posted at your cabin door had just let your killer pass, you mean? Apparently. Gregson told the crewman he was a police inspector. Which was the truth, of course. He wouldn't have had his identification with him, though. He had his trench coat and mustache, not to mention the bag of chips. I imagine a crewman was convinced. But the man accompanying him would have had 2 swords slung around his waist. You mean, me? Who else? Yes, that's true. You would have hoped the sight of a few swords might have set off alarm bells in the guard's head. The point is, I left the cabin for its occupant to return, and I immediately disembarked the ship. Certainly. All I can tell you is that the inspector was waiting for me when I arrived back in my cabin. And you entered without any inkling of suspicion. That's right. None whatsoever. Oh? So... Let's press.
Hold it!
Obviously. You're talking about Inspector Gregson. Yes. Though at the time, I didn't know the man's name. And there was no time for introductions. I value my life over manners. By which you mean that the inspector was there to assassinate you, I suppose. That was certainly the impression given by the gun pointing my direction. But I'd never seen the muzzle of a revolver shake about so much in all my life. Anyone would think the man had never shot somebody before. Believe it or not, most of us haven't. Anyway, there's no time to call for help, the crewman at the door. So I dealt with the man myself.
Hold it!
Even though the man had a gun. That was a very brave move, wasn't it? My Seoi is far faster than a bullet, I can assure you. Can we get a little demonstration? I mean, we did see it in the first case, but still. Surely all that commotion caused the crewman to come in, didn't it? But then he's gonna say, oh, it took place at 10 p.m. Yes, of course. He burst in immediately without knocking. The inspector hurled himself at the stocky fellow and just managed to slip past him to make his escape. The outstanding guard does it again. Can you add that to your testimony, maybe? Anyways. Luckily, there aren't many situations I can't get out of using a quick Ippon-seoi throw.
Hold it!
Okay, let's talk. The crown snapped off, and the glass covering the face of the watch was cracked. Preferable to the man's head being pulled off or his spine cracking, wouldn't you say? Not that the man was spared for long. A bullet to the chest soon saw to that. But the point is, the broken pocket watch doesn't prove that a murder took place. Absolutely not. All the watch proves is the power of my jujutsu throw. Whatever you say, it doesn't quite ring true that no shot was fired in that cabin. Because there was an obvious bullet hole in the wall. What are you talking about? We haven't proven that yet. That's what the star of your low-brow detective stories told you, isn't it? Well, I don't care for such fiction. Well, he did find you, didn't he, buddy? Haven't you worked it out yet? You little stripling. No murder took place in my cabin. Hmm.
Hold it!
There's no evidence that proves the victim ever returned to London alive. I just need to... There isn't anything that's, like, jumping out at me. But, let's see. Just take a moment to think that idea of yours through now, stripling. What? If the inspector was killed on a steamship in France, how on earth could he have gotten back to Britain? You stuff him in your trunk and put ice in it. Yeah. When people die, their bodies remain at that same spot. It's a devil of a thing. Well, then, obviously the culprit must have moved the body. How exactly? Carrying a corpse off a ship in your arms. Raise a few eyebrows at least, don't you think? Well, yes, it's true, but you have a big-ass suitcase, sir. Oh? All passengers' luggage is inspected, when it is unloaded from arriving vessels. And I would like to think that the border police would query the corpse of an English gentleman as hand luggage. But what if he's got diplomatic immunity because he is a foreign minister? Right? What if his luggage was not you know, inspected? Do we have something for that? Anything for that? The murder had taken place aboard the ship. You would imagine the body would have been disposed of at sea. There would be no sense in risking being caught by attempting to transport the body back to Britain. Let's kill that idea then. No, it was transported back. But perhaps not. Mrs. Sato? We've heard that the first-class passengers were under constant scrutiny by the crewmen posted to guard them. Which would mean that the culprit had no opportunity to dispose of the body in the sea. Yes, it's true. So transporting the body to Britain may have been the only viable alternative. Dear me. You really are new to this, aren't you? I thought I'd been perfectly clear, but it seems I'm going to have to explain it in words you can understand. Please change your testimony so I can fuck with you. I think I ought to alter my testimony. With your consent, of course, my lord. I have no objection. State your amended testimony now. Why? Because I'm gonna have to show the photo. Because what? You don't have a suitcase or something? Hang on. Hold. I'm gonna look into this. There's an idea. Think about it, stripling. All passengers and crew disembarked at the same time and passed through the same checks at the border. The symposium guests were then driven straight to the hotel in carriages organized by the ministry. And we met you as soon as you arrived at the hotel. So you did. Well then, remind me. Did I have a corpse over my shoulder at the time? No, but you definitely had a large suitcase. What? No! We were in agreement then. I couldn't possibly have brought the inspector's body back to Britain. Unless, of course, they developed some clever device these days to instantly move things from A to B. Not necessarily. It has not necessarily been invented yet, but well, it's not science fiction. Funny you should say that. Professor Harebrain's invention didn't actually work, if you remember, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, of course. The defense has become unusually quiet, I notice. Yes, because there's really nothing more to say. No, but I can disprove that. So that's a story. Well, I suppose if you think about it, whenever you drop a teacup in the office and it breaks, we don't say, Mr. Naruhodo must have been murdered there, do we? Instead, a veiled threat about what might happen to me if I break another one. And the fact... So you've broken more than one teacup, huh? And the fact is that Inspector Gregson's body was found in a little room on Fresno Street. If he really was killed in Judge Jigoku's cabin, the body would have been moved somehow, obviously. Transporting a dead body over a country border would be impossible for the majority of people. There must have been some special circumstance that made it possible for the culprit then. That could be a vital realization, I think, Mr. Naruhodo. Okay, I'm gonna take a very quick break and I'll be right back. But yeah, please enjoy the courtroom music. I'll be right back. I just need to go to the bathroom. Give me a sec. Okay, I'm back. Let's see. Like, I'm thinking there has to be some sort of special considerations for, like, what was it? For, like, Aria wedding, as they say? Well, we've coming to the conclusion that Jigoku is the murderer. But it's like, we know that he definitely transported it in his large suitcase. But it's like... Oh, wait! Oh! Wait! I just remembered! Okay, it's not something that we have as, like, proper evidence, but, like, I just remembered something that Mikotoba said when they arrived in Japan. Mikotoba had to, like, actually go through the process of, like, the inspection. But Jigoku didn't because he's the Minister of Foreign Affairs. So, like, he just kind of coasted right through while Miko Daddy had to, like, do the whole thing. Right? But we don't have that down in writing. That's the only problem. We don't have that down in writing. But can we still do it and then just kind of extrapolate that? Right, can we expound on that by presenting the photo? That's his name now. Exactly, it's Yujin Miko Daddy. Miko Daddy Yujin. Like, that's the only... Because I pressed on every single thing already. So this has to be the only thing that will work. Right? Because I just remember it. I just literally remember that little conversation.
Objection!
There we go! Because you are the foreign minister... The Minister of Foreign Affairs. You were able to go through an express lane. Sir. I literally just remembered that. Holy shit. Okay. There's no possible way you could have moved Inspector Gregson's body, you say? I would say the opposite is true. And what's that supposed to mean? Far from being impossible for you to do so, it would have been perfectly easy. The transporting of Inspector Gregson's body back to Britain is something only you can do. What are you talking about, Ryunosuke? Don't forget, Kazuma. He's not only just a Supreme Court judge, he is the fucking Minister of Foreign Affairs. As well as being a judge, Mr. Jigoku is also Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs. Let's fucking go! Which means he's exempt from having his luggage searched when he enters the country. We learned that when we first met you upon your arrival in London. Don't forget, you told us that yourself. Well, all those passport checks and luggage searches at the border took rather a lot of time. I must say, I'm very envious of your ministerial status. You didn't have to go through any of that, did you? I knew you were jealous. I presume you recall this, Judge Jigoku. There are 5 people in this photograph. It's a photograph we took in the foyer of the hotel to mark the occasion. As Accord will note, you have with you your large travel trunk. Large enough, in fact, to have a corpse inside. But, Mr. Naruto, surely you're just suggesting, I'm not only just suggesting, Susato, there are 5 people pictured in that photograph. I'm afraid I am, yes. 3 days ago, when we were chatting innocently with the new arrivals from Japan in the hotel, the body of Inspector Gregson was just meters away from us, inside Judge Jigoku's trunk! Let's go! The shock. Order! Order! Order in court! I'm skeptical, counsel, that a grown man's body can fit inside even the largest travel trunk. You say that, but this motherfucker here fit his whole big ass pussy in there. Okay? This tall ass man right in front of you. It could. Because I happen to know that the witness himself, a man of considerable size, fits inside his trunk. And verifying that would be extremely simple, wouldn't it, Judge Jigoku? Get in the trunk right now. But inside his trunk, how horrifying. And after we've spoken with you at this Great Waterloo Hotel, you had the opportunity to visit the apparent scene on Fresno Street. Taking your trunk with you in a cab to deposit the inspector's body. I don't have to listen to this nonsense. Dr. Gori, the coroner who examined the body, has confirmed the possibility. She has acknowledged that there are signs that steps may have been taken to disguise the true time of death. And as a luxury liner, it comes equipped with a refrigeration unit full of fucking ice that you could have piled high into your luggage, good sir. The onset of the body's decomposition could have been delayed by storing it in a refrigerator. Counsel, as I remember explaining yesterday, refrigerators, the requisite size are few and far between. But what if you stuff a luggage full of fucking ice, my lord? Let me cook. Yes, I'm sure they are. But one place they're certainly found is on large ocean liners. Such ships are equipped with electrically refrigerated cold rooms to keep food fresh for their long sea voyages. And the SS Groose is no exception. Professor Mikotoba told me about it only yesterday. Well, Judge Jigoku? Dots. However much you prolong this debate, you can't eliminate the truth. All the evidence points to you being the killer. Dots. Oh, wait, hang on. Do you still have things to say? Well, this is all very heartening. I can see that it was a wise move letting Asogi and you embark on the study tour. What are you talking about now? Logical reasoning, of course. All court proceedings will be built on logical reasoning in the new future. Oh, are you saying that because we've shown such, like, disregard to logical reasoning, that this was a good idea? And I can see. Oh, wait, no, you're complimenting us? And I can see that you've both laid firm foundations for that already. Judge Jigoku, please, stop diverting attention from the issue at hand. The defense has made an accusation against you. How do you respond? Respond? There's really no need for me to respond, is there? Why ever not? Because before I can even begin to answer the question of when the victim was killed, wait, hang on. I need to, let me take a look at the autopsy report again. Okay. Cash court march entry, below the blah, standard issue. Okay. There are no other marks or bruisings on him. We must first establish one key fact. Oh, motive, right? Oh, where? Where was the victim killed? It's quite logical. Like, in your cabin. The actual scene of the crime. The prosecution's stance is unaltered. The killing took place in Fresno Street, when the gunshot was heard. As the accused, Baroque von Zieks, shot the victim at point-blank range. Wait, hang on. I have no evidence for this. Since no tangible evidence exists to disprove the prosecution's claim at this time, the defense's deductions amount to little more than an elaborate fairy tale. I'm afraid that's how the logical reasoning the British are known for really works, young stripling. Dots. Wait, tangible- wait. But, okay. Do I pull this again, maybe? Dots. The victim was shot in that little room on Fresno Street and died instantly. But where is my evidence for that? Right? I always wonder what the underside of a hairpiece looks like. That doesn't surprise me at all, Mr. Naruto. You always want to see what lies beneath, don't you? I'm not sure that's quite how I'd put it. You must have to use lots of bird lime to keep it in place on your head. So it doesn't get blown off in a gust of wind, I mean. That might be a little inconvenient when you wanted to take it off again, don't you think? But where are we getting this from? Like, where are we getting this from? I'm afraid it's the prosecution's claim. That's the only fairy tale here. How can you say that? How can we say that? Quite simply. Wait, hang on. And died instantly. And died instantly. On Fresno Street. It can't be this. Hi everyone, hi Lala, hello. We are trying to figure out what is, like where we're going with this. Okay, I need to take a look at every single piece of evidence again and again and again. But we're doing well. I'm doing pretty good. I'm just trying to figure out what he means, like, which evidence, like, contradicts it. Right? That contradicts a piece of evidence, right? Glad to hear. Nice. And died instantly. So this is where the little policeman figurine keys goes into one the watch, winding up every single day for 10 years without fail. Yes, it was obviously a thing of great importance to the inspector. A reminder of the past, lest you forget. This game looks really fun. It is pretty fun, like, cause like you can get to a lot of logical reasonings. You know, and like, but it's like also like you can kind of sometimes you can see the endpoint, but you're also trying to figure out like how to get there. The victim was shot in that little room on Fresno Street and died instantly. I'm afraid if it's because yeah, and I absolutely have anything that has to do with solving mystery. Yeah. Quite simply because that claim directly contradicts a certain piece of evidence in our possession. I love the hat. Yeah. So like this is the hat that like the main character Rinosuke when he wears when he's going outdoors. Like that's his actual pepper cap. So I snagged it. It's found. Yeah. Okay, I'm What does it contradict is the thing. You stole his fit. I did steal his fit. I almost wish I could steal his uniform, but like, yeah, nah. You know what? Let's carry on with this line of thinking first. Very tantalizing, counsel. I think I'd better explain yourself to the court, don't you? I would like to know as well. First Assad, then his entire outfit. Exactly. First Assad, his entire outfit, his shoes, and what lies beneath, what lies underneath. The prosecution claims that Inspector Gregson died instantly when he was shot at the scene on Fresno Street, but there was no gunshot there, right? We've proven that like it was the firecracker. When it was shot at the scene on Fresno Street. So the candle was used as a sort of timer device to set off the firecrackers. That's a really ingenious idea. Though obviously it was a shame it was used for such a wicked purpose. Huh, it's such a wicked purpose. Because it's a candle. Anyways, I wonder if there weren't some more positive uses for the timer device such as that. Yeah, I have the perfect applications. As an alarm? It would be a wonderful way of waking you up in the mornings, Mr. Naruto. My god! I think I'd prefer that you continue to wake me in person, if it's all the same to you. Okay, let's just go through all of the evidence again. There are details of a whole raft of cases dating back years on here, aren't there? This paper from 10 years ago is brown and of age. Look. Out of interest, the most recent thing appears to be this newspaper cutting here. Oh, it's the same Red-Headed League advertisement that Mr. Shrooms had picked out. And do you remember? There's a red hairpiece at the scene too. Was Inspector Gregson an exponent of the Red-Headed League then? Dots. Oh, what's this? Mr. Naruhodo, look! Oh yes, it's a smudge of some kind. It's a handprint, but like... I kind of find it weird that we're still able to like have all of these evidence, because usually they would have cleaned it up, right? So I'm like, It looks just kind of like a handprint. And the color. That's blood, isn't it? Wait. Hang on. Okay, so it has... Okay, think about this, alright? It has to be regarding Inspector getting killed, Fresno Street, and whatnot. Prosecution claims that Inspector Gregson died instantly when shot at the scene on Fresno Street. A photographic print tightly curled up. Wait, okay. Okay, imagine like... If you died instantly, right, from getting shot from the front, you would think that you would fall backwards, right? If you died instantly, because why would you crumple up like this? You would just be shot backwards. It was like tightly curled up. So it has to be this, right? That's the only thing I can think of, because the only thing that relates to like Fresno Street and Gregson. Because if he died... Like, it was shot instantly. You know, he would just be blown backwards, right? Or, like, forwards. Or, like, it wouldn't be, like, curled up like this. Take that!
Take that!
Oh, God! Oh! Oh, shit! Oh, God! God. Okay. Nice. Alright. Oh, okay. A photograph of the victim in the very location you claimed he wasn't killed. Yes, but the point is, the posture of the body itself. If Inspector Gregson had been shot there in that room, it's out of the question that his body would have been curled up in a ball like that, unless he was like curled up because he was in a luggage. Just like with our Judge Jigoku here. Objection! I'm sorry to disappoint you, but your logic is flawed. He could easily have adopted that fatal position due to the pain of the shot, which subsequently proved fatal, but it was an instant death.
Objection!
I'm sorry to disappoint you, Judge Goku, but it's your logic that is flawed. What? According to this autopsy report, the victim died instantly. He would have felt no pain, much less have been able to draw himself into that position. He would have just fallen backwards or forward. He would not have curled up. He would just like flat. Which begs the question of why the victim's body is curled up in that way because it was transported. But the answer should be abundantly clear by now. You're suggesting. The inspector's body took on that posture ahead of its arrival on Fresno Street, before it was coldly turned out on the floor from the inside of a large travel trunk. No! You're quite right. Shift the body as if it was stuck in the trunk. It looks exactly as if it had been kept in a confined space. Judge Goku, present your trunk for examination. I believe it's very impossible that it will contain traces of the victim's blood. Ugh. Oh? Dots. Present my trunk! I refuse! What? On what grounds? Dots. I'm the Minister of Foreign Affairs from the Empire of Japan. I shouldn't have to put up with this treatment. Just because of some stripling's baseless accusations. Oh? Then prove to the court that they're baseless. Prove it. In other words, Judge Goku, there is blood in your trunk. I decline to answer that. As the Minister of Foreign Affairs, I have privilege that allows me to. At this moment, you're not a government minister. You're a witness, and you have just been accused of murder. You are a witness in a trial in Britain's highest court. I don't care who you are, or what your status outside this courtroom might be. You will not withhold information. God damn, Inosuke. God, your whole... Oh my god, smack him with that. Holy shit. Nothing is more important than the truth. Order. Order in court. Well, Mr. Jigoku, what's it to be? Dots. You can't be serious. You did it! Dots. Avino Shim et al. Kazuma Sugi. What? Dots. Very well. I admit it. Oh, you're gonna say like Kazuma killed him and then you put him in the trunk. I did bring the inspector's body into the country. Inside my trunk. Exactly as postulated by the defense. So I mean, regardless, we're gonna have you to hold you in contempt of court, right? Because of perjury. What? You? Dear God. Outrageous. So it was you. You admit to Inspector Grex's murder. No. I admit to nothing more than what I've said. Oh my god. Munchkin and Hime, thank you so much for the follow. You're now a snow patroller. It is now your solemn duty to go around looking for not so chill vibes and make them chill again. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Of killing the man, I certainly have no recollection. What on earth is that cryptic statement supposed to mean? I merely disposed the inspector's body, which was left in my cabin, in order to avoid unwanted attention. As the judicial assistant over there pointed out, I had no chance to throw it into the ocean. So, I decided my only option was to bring it into Britain with me and dispose it somewhere else. Okay, go on. Like, where are you going with it? Like, you're, like, he probably is gonna be saying like, oh, and that's because Kazuma Sogi was the one who killed him. Yes. You can't still deny it. If you didn't do it, then who on earth killed the man? As you know, there was one other person in my cabin that night. He had the opportunity. And moreover, he'd already accepted a mission to take the inspector's life. Oh! That's right. Who else could it have been? It was you, Kazuma Sogi. Those sweat marks, though, you're fucking lying through the skin of your teeth. Don't do this. Dots. You. I never thought you stoop to this. Seishiro Jigoku. You've taken the words straight out of my mouth. Prosecutor Kazuma Sogi. You thought by leaving the body in my cabin, you pinned the crime on me, did you? Well, the prosecution counsel has already admitted to visiting the witness cabin on the night in question. Yes, on an assassination mission, no less. You wouldn't! So, what do you make of that, young stripling? You've heard my testimony now, and that's all I have to say on the matter. I'll admit to nothing more. But with what gun? Right? With what gun? Like this one? But then, again, why would you have deposited the body in, like, Fresno Street, of all places? I don't believe this. Counsel for the defense. What is your position now? The court awaits your response to the witness's assertion. The assertion that on the night in question, the victim's assailant was in fact Kazuma Asogi. This isn't the dead end it seems to be. The answer's right in front of me. It comes down to Judge Jigoku, Kazuma. Both of them had the opportunity to kill Gregson, but only one of them did it. And I'm just a step away from proving who. It has to be Jigoku. Very well. The defense is ready to respond to the assertion put forth by Judge Jigoku. The idea that the victim's murder could have been committed by Prosecutor Sogi is... it's fucking impossible. Right? Unless you're telling me he was unless you're telling me that he was like concealed carrying the gun, which he couldn't have. He had two swords by his by the wayside, literally. So it's like, it's impossible. It's impossible. Right? Yeah. Judge Jigoku. Let me remind you of something you said only a few minutes ago. Oh wait, it isn't one. It's impossible. Because here's the thing, right? If he shot him there, because he left when the crewman was there, right? Because the crewman was there, it would have been impossible for him to kill him and not like get and not have caused a commotion, right? Because Jigoku already said that, oh, by the time I met with Gregson, right? You know, the crewman was still outside my door. I threw him across the room. And then like and then the crewman came in. So like like, you're already contradicting your previous statement. It's just the whole thing. You claim that logical reasoning is the future of the judicial process. It is. No question. Well, logical reason can prove something here. Namely, that it would have been impossible for Prosecutor Sogi to commit the crime. Let's go! What? The court will only accept an argument that is supported by compelling evidence. Okay, I need to think on this. To present what you have, counsel. What proof is that that allegedly demonstrates the impossibility of Prosecutor Sogi's involvement? I need to think in this, like, what specifically? I mean, like, the thing, one, like, being that he wouldn't have been able to have a gun? A unique serial number. Until there's nothing on this gun. And issued longer ago than that. Okay, I need to think on, like... Wait. Following departure from the port of Dunkirk, all crew members are required to assemble at the main deck at 10. Wait, the departure! Because we know that he disembarked the ship. Okay, he disembarked the ship before, he disembarked the ship before it departed, right? And he stayed at he signed and stayed at a boarding house. And that boarding house would have had like a time and date on it. And if this is the only time that he could have possibly killed Gregson, it would have been possible for him because he was already off the ship. Right? Because it's following the departure from Dunkirk. Right?
Take that!
This itinerary for crew members of the SS Groose, my lord. This is conclusive proof. Let's go! An itinerary? How does that prove anything? Judge Goku, the moment you acknowledged that you found the victim's body in your cabin, this itinerary suddenly became much more significant. Because like, you know, the crewmen only went like because of the departure. What? Why? On the night in question, as always, the crewman's sentry was on guard outside your cabin door. As long as he was there, nobody could have fired a shot inside the cabin. Absolutely. Because it's inconceivable that the guard wouldn't have heard it and come to investigate. So that tells us that the crime must have taken place when the guard was elsewhere, between 10 to 10:20. But that's after the ship has departed from Dunkirk. That narrows it down to the 20 minutes just after 10 o'clock, as indicated on the itinerary. Yes, I see no flaw in your reasoning so far. The crucial point is this. When the evacuation drill took place, the steamship had already put to sea from the port of Dunkirk. Ugh. Now, clearly the murder could have only been committed by somebody who was aboard the vessel at the time. Our prosecutor Sogi stated in yesterday's proceedings, I didn't come to Great Britain to take anyone's life, so I left Gregson and disembarked the ship. I spent that night at a boarding house in the town and returned to England the following morning, which I'm sure the court will agree is conclusive proof that Kazuma Sogi couldn't possibly have carried out the killing. Let's go! Because he was already at a boarding house. Oh my god, Jigoku. No! Absolutely not. I don't accept that at all. It doesn't matter what you accept, it is logical proof. What do you mean? The boy's just saying that to exonerate himself. We can't trust that he really disembarked the vessel. But we can check the boarding house, right? Obviously, after he left my cabin, he hid himself somewhere nearby on the ship, but he would have been inspected and checked there, right? Just waiting.
Objection.
Waiting for his chance to come back and finish the... No, it's out of the question. Isn't it, Kazuma? As the defense rightly recalls, you signed the book. I disembarked the vessel and spent the night in a boarding house in Dunkirk. And as I said yesterday, I signed my name in the accommodations register book. All extremely easy to verify, and undeniable proof. No, There's no escape this time. You can forget that you're a judge or a government minister. You're just a murderer. It's time you give the court an honest answer. As a common man. Oh shit, you're gonna break the witness stand again? Just like 10 years ago? You're gonna be held in contempt of court, good sir. You killed Inspector Tobias Gregson and transported his corpse back to Britain. Then you dumped the body in the room on Fresno Street and made it look as if the murder had happened there. That's what really happened, isn't it? Say Shiro Jigoku. It was that damn trial 10 years ago. That's when it all began. Oh, fuck. Looking back now, my fate was decided that day. I was doomed already. Oh? Oh, fuck! Yo! What the? Oh, shit! What? What the fuck? Bro! It's over! My life is over. What the fuck, dude? Bro! What? I was expecting to break it in half, not for it to fling them the fuck over. Oh, shit. Okay, a British assassin to eliminate a professor in Japan. A Japanese assassin to eliminate a detective in Britain. Both assassins used diplomatic immunity to evade conviction and return safely to their homelands. The assassin exchange request arrived from Britain about 1 year ago. It was hardly a request. It was a demand. And for that, you decided to recruit Mr. Asogi. But things didn't go according to plan. Your chosen assassin never made it to Britain. And you found yourself unable to dispatch a replacement because of me. Because I was already on my way to Britain at that time in Cosmos Place. And that left me with only one option for carrying out my obligation. To do it yourself. To eliminate the mark myself. Personally. Of course. There was but a single opportunity for me to do that. The International Forensic Science Symposium, I presume. That's right. I decided it would be safest to carry out the plan before my arrival in Britain. So I enlisted to help my British counterpart. And made arrangements for a pretext that would take the inspector to Dunkirk. To lure the man in, it was given a sham mission by the Reaper. What? The Reaper? Wait, so you're admitting it? But it's not Baroque von Zeeks. It's not him. But there's only one person who could have done that. The mastermind of the entire operation. The Reaper himself. So, that means that the assassin exchange was... It was all planned by the Reaper. Dots. But, okay, like, Baroque, like, von Zeeks is, like, a member of nobility, but, like, he's not, like, that high up in the government at all. He's just a prosecutor. The best one, but still just a prosecutor. Dots. I'm not at liberty to say anything about my British counterpart. Anyway, the inspector accepted the Reaper's mission and dutifully infiltrated my cabin on the steamship. But it was all a trap designed to lead him to France and his own death. Oh, how awful. It was past 9 o'clock when I returned to my cabin from the dining hall that evening. I didn't give him time to attack me. I choked him until he lost consciousness. Okay. But there was a guard just outside the door, so I left it at that for the time being. Even the slightest noise might have aroused suspicion, so I bided my time, waiting. But it's 20 minutes after 10 o'clock. I had intended to finish him by strangulation, but moments before I had the chance, he woke up. He suddenly came around and went for me in a reckless move. Oh, wow. Wait, so it was your gun? I'd received the British issued gun 16 years earlier, being a member of the judiciary as a visiting student. You kept the gun this whole time and you brought it with you? I never imagined I'd have to use it for something like that. So the revolver belongs to you, does it? Oh, and that makes sense why it doesn't have a serial number, because it's way longer than 5 years ago. You got it 16 years ago. Dots. Then the victim was killed inside your cabin on the SS Gross. Which begs the question of why you arranged for his body to be discovered in the room on Fresno Street. The young judicial assistant over there has already answered the question. There was no way I could take the body up on deck to throw it over the side. That's precisely where all the crewmen were gathered for the evacuation drill. So, for the first class cabin sentry's return, I took the corpse to the refrigeration room. And then on arriving in Dover, you concealed the body in your trunk in order to smuggle it past the border police. Okay, so you did not stuff your trunk full of ice. I mean, fair enough, because, like, it was still a giant, I mean, you know, refrigeration unit, but that's gross, though. You kept it of all the food, dude. You kept it of all the fucking food. I knew I needed to take steps if the police were to be convinced when the body was found in London. In that case, he must have known. He must have had intimate details of Inspector Gregson's intended schedule. Yes. My British counterpart sent me everything I needed to know. The inspector was due at Fresno Street at 5 o'clock that afternoon. In order to meet a man by the name of Hugh Boone, from whom he would take his police identification. I decided that man would be the perfect person to set up as the culprit. Oh? I took a hackney carriage over there with the body still in my trunk. That must have been just after we took this photograph of you at the hotel then. Yes. I wasn't expecting a welcoming committee. I was more than a little nervous. On Fresno Street, I spotted a young girl selling firecrackers. Oh, I forgot her name, but what was it? Venus, yeah. Miss Venus, of course. I conceived of the candle trick there and then. So I donned a simple disguise and approached the girl to buy enough firecrackers to replicate a gunshot. I mean, the wig with your beard is kind of wild, though. What sort of disguise? A wig? For some reason, the inspector had a bright red hairpiece in his own traveling case. So I put that on. Although I suspect I drew more attention to myself from that than I would have otherwise. The hairpiece we found at the scene. The inspector had it ready for the Red-Headed League investigation. I only arrived at the room at around 4:45. So I quickly placed the body on the floor, moved the notice board, and set up my little candle trick. I arranged it so the firecrackers would go off with a bang around 15 minutes later. So that Boone, who was due to arrive at 5, would walk straight into a trap. Except, at the last moment, I made a careless blunder. What was that? That you didn't know that Baroque Von Zieg's was visiting? I imagine it was the bag of fish and chips. Oh, right, yeah, because it started decaying. Ugh. I didn't notice that it had fallen out of his overcoat pocket when I moved the body to the refrigeration unit room. I put it back into his pocket the following morning, but it had already begun to rot. Well, it seems the warmth of the heated cabin had accelerated the decay of the fish. Dots. Anyway, that's everything. All the sordid details of what I did, but it can't end here, right? There's still, like, the connection of the professor case, right? Because this is the final episode. Kazuma's not gonna let it end here. Oh my god, the stand is just gone. I've heard enough. Oh crap. Where did the stand go? Jikoku broke it in his breakdown. He fucking slammed it. He slammed it. He slammed it with both of his fists. He reenacted what happened 10 years ago, basically. Well, you know, after we caught him at the corner. He slammed it with his fists. It broke, and then it had enough force to completely shatter and then fly backwards, apparently. It was a whole thing. It was amazing. Also, like, really fucking shocking, because I just expected it to, like, just snap in half. Damn, I missed yesterday's, like, Jack shouldn't have done this. You miss all the kooky shit that happens on a witness stand. We've arrived at the truth about the murder of one of the country's most capable and respected police inspectors. the witness will be tried in the coming days. For a crime of such a vile nature, you can expect the most severe penalty. Dots. But it can't be over yet, right? It can't be over yet. Dots. An exchange of assassins. What a foolhardy idea. Mr. Jioku, one last detail. Who was your counterpart in Britain? Who was the mastermind behind the assassin exchange? It's Stronghard, right? It has to be. Dots. Nothing you say now can make matters any worse for you. Just tell us. Enough! I've already told you that I cannot say. Even though as things stand, you may very well never set foot in your homeland again. Dots. What are you waiting for? Can we get this over with now? It's finished. All of it. I'm finished. We can't let this end here. We can't. Then, in the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I now pronounce the findings of this court. This man before us has admitted to the willful murder of Tobias Gregson. Yo, hey, whoa, wait, bro, wait, what? Guilty? What the fuck? Oh, wait, him. He is found guilty. Okay. Okay, that scared the fuck out of me. Alright. Seishiro Jigoku. It is the opinion of this court that you should be found guilty. And may I remind all those present of the strict confidentiality demanded by this closed court. Moments ago, Mr. Jigoku signed a written confession, admitting to the murder of Inspector Gregson and the subsequent conveyance of the body. In short, oh, they got a new stand? Okay, alright, they got a new stand. Alright, they work quick. In short, the defendant's innocence has therefore been established beyond doubt. Dots. Wonderful. Well done, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, thank you. Is something wrong? Yeah, but like, it's leaving a lot of like things unresolved, and remember what the judge said. We're gonna be pursuing the truth, and we can't go against what he said, right? We have to pursue the truth. Dots. I'm just a little troubled by his silence. Oh, yeah. The true identity of the Reaper of the Bailey and this extraordinary assassin exchange. Imagine if Zeeks breaks the stand of another like Jackson. Can you imagine? Like, it just like, bam. He's like, what is this horse? What is this kangaroo court? We do remain in the dark about these mysteries. However, insofar as the indictment brought against the defendant in this trial, we have reached a conclusion. I have every intention of pursuing both mysteries. As a prosecutor. As you wish. Now, for the formal adjudication. I hereby declare the defendant, Baruch von Zeeks.
Objection!
Kazuma? Oh no, what? prosecution. Cause for adjudication to be deferred. Counsel. The accused's innocence hasn't been fully established at all. And therefore, it would be wrong to deliver a verdict at this time because you're still of the opinion that he has to be the Reaper. So even if he wasn't the one who killed Gregson, you think that because he's the head of the organization, he gave the order. He was using Seishido as the weapon to kill Gregson, therefore he is still the killer. Right? That's what you're going with. That is the prosecution's unwavering position. What? But Judge Goku has already confessed. Nevertheless, Baruch von Zieks has committed crimes for which he must be punished. Well, it would appear you have information that the court needs to hear, Prosecutor Sergei. Certainly, the murder of Inspector Gregson was actually carried out by Seishiro Jigoku. But it's clear from the witness's testimony that he was coerced into complying with the plot into this sick, merciless assassin exchange. That may be true, but... So what I want to know is, who coerced Jigoku? Who was pulling the strings? The victim went to France having been ordered on a mission for the Reaper, only to be murdered. In other words, the mastermind behind the assassin exchange is someone in a position to give such an order. As we've already established, the Reaper himself. Well, certainly, that would appear to follow. The prosecution hereby formally accuses the man in the dock, Baruch von Zieks, of being the Reaper of the Bailey. And furthermore, I'm going to prove his guilt beyond all reasonable doubt. What? Kazuma, bro, stop. Order, order, order. The Reaper, the Bailey. A long-standing mystery, Counsel. Are you suggesting that you have some new information with which to build a case? Scullion has already investigated Lord von Zieks very thoroughly in that regard, and he found no evidence whatsoever to substantiate the claim that he is the Reaper. Perhaps. But circumstances have now changed. What do you mean? Wait. Where are you going with this? It's already been established that the assassin exchange was negotiated with Jigoku by the Reaper himself. Which means we now have a new line of questioning, by which to identify definitively the man's identity. That is the prosecution's intention here. I must say, I'm surprised by quite how tenaciously you appear to want to besmirch my name. Dots. You are guilty of an unforgivable crime, Lord von Zieks. And I will bring you to justice for it. Whatever it takes! That explains Cosmo's silence before. He was thinking about this. He'll stop at nothing to finish what Lord von Zieks unwittingly started 10 years ago. Dots. Very well. Whilst it's extremely irregular, I will on this occasion grant the prosecution further opportunity for witness testimony. The defendant will disclose any and all involvement he has had with the Reaper in the assassin exchange. I thank you, my lord, for guiding the court so wisely. I hereby declare this court to be in session for a supplementary hearing. Okay, alright. Shit. Goddamn, alright. Oh, there we go! Ejection! Let's go! Pray, turn a blind eye to discourtesy, as I verify that this vile and unremitting accusation hasn't soured the contents of my hallowed chalice. Ejection, let's go! Woo! Lord Von Zeeks! I first had to suffer the pseudonym of the Reaper 10 years ago now. And ever since that time, I've endured the weight of implied guilt that's gone with it. Ooh. Till I welcome the chance to testify now and crush those allegations once and for all. Good. And let justice decide, Lord Von Zeeks. The prosecution seeks to begin building its case by calling the accused to the stand as the primary witness, in order that he may answer the accusation brought by the prosecution that he is the Reaper of the Bailey. And what says the defense? Putting the defendant in the witness stand can be extremely dangerous, but also could be extremely beneficial. We could prove that he's not the Reaper. And Kazuma-sama is so emotional at the moment. He's not thinking logically. You're right that he's not himself. But I knew it would be like this. And I came here today determined to face him through whatever might arise. As a lawyer, and his friend, as his best friend, we got this. And that's what we must do. The defense has no objection, my lord. Very well. Defendant, you would take the witness stand and give formal testimony on the subject of your involvement with the Reaper and the assassin exchange. As you wish, my lord. Okay, here's the thing. The Reaper and the Assassin Exchange. Y'all are gonna hate me. Y'all are gonna hate me. I think this would be a good spot to stop right now. I'm sorry. But also, it is getting quite late for me. I'm gonna do a save. It is getting very, very late for me. And I believe this would be a good place to stop off. Yeah. I believe that this would be a good place to drop off. And then tomorrow, I will try to stream a bit earlier and then we can go through everything. Yes. So yeah, that's gonna be it for me tonight. I will try to do more of this tomorrow. Yeah. And then, and it might be the end. Tomorrow might be the very last Ace Attorney stream, maybe? We shall see. But yeah, in any case, thank you so much for stopping by. I really, really, really appreciate it. If you've got the rest of the day going for you, please have a very, very, very wonderful rest of your day. If you need to rest and decompress and go to bed like I do, then they ask me to you. Good night, good night, good night. Yeah. Yeah. So, let's see. So, yeah. Things are coming to a climax. Very much so. So, we're gonna blah, blah, blah. Let's go do a raid. So let me pull out my raid message. My raid alt. And my raid sub. So please copy whichever raid messages you're able to copy, and we're going to be making our way over to... Let me see. Who's online right now? Let's go raid Sam. Yeah. Nice. So for those that don't know who Sam is a variety of YouTuber. She typically streams a lot. Well, a whole lot of different games. She's recently been streaming a lot of Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma, but currently she's doing some Lego building. Yeah, I'm not sure. Wait, no, she's gonna do some Lego building and then she's gonna do some Rune Factory. She's building what I think is the Dancing Groot. So yeah, let's go on over and go for a good old Snowpatrol greeting, shall we? Yeah. So yeah, tomorrow I'll stream. I'll endeavor to stream earlier, and then we can get done. And then we can get through with this case. So yeah. But that's gonna be it for me tonight. So, what's today up? And as always, this has been Toya, and I'll see ya